Hey everyone, Josh here. You might know me by Scrub Sauce from all the posting and stuff I do on SCNFDM.com and on social media and all that for the site. So you're probably wondering, what is Compare Me to None? Since we first started working on the site back in 2015, we've always toyed with the idea of doing some sort of podcast or interview series. And we've done a handful of interviews over the years, but the pandemic kind of normalized doing this stuff virtually. So when Charlie Scene first approached us to help with promoting his new solo project, an interview felt like something natural that we could do to help, promote that release and the content that he was dropping at the time. But we had so much fun with the whole experience, and it was just so solid all around. We knew we were onto something, and we didn't want it to just be a one and done. We wanted to give ourselves a space to record and create and do more in the future going forward with other band members or other folks involved with HU. As far as the name goes, the band's always looked forward to their newest stuff, very rarely going back into their back catalog. So the line Compare Me to None from Heart of a Champion felt really natural for this kind of deeper dive, more personal personal history type look of an interview series we're wanting to do with this project. I also want to say that Compare Me to None is by no means a solo effort. We've always wanted to give back to this band and the community with the site and our social platforms, and we've made this a community endeavor, getting help from fans all over the world. Many thanks to Chise Kumo for providing the lovely title and series artwork you'll see on the videos. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, she iterated through this with us on producing something great, even though we really didn't know what we wanted at the start of the process. I think she made something that really shines through. The series theme music was composed by the super talented Caster 25. It's just another example of an iterative process, and we only kind of had a vague idea of what we wanted, and they cranked out something that I think just fit the project perfectly. Also, a huge shout out to my friend and our editor, Steve Hall. He helped us on some interviews in the past, and he spent what little bit of free time he's had this season helping us pull all of our stuff together, despite our inexperience and our material being a little rough around the edges to start. And he's made it into something I think we're all proud to share with you guys. And I can't forget to give thanks to the rest of the SCNFDM team. Herman, for all your help, your words of encouragement and your enthusiasm, it's keeps us going. And honestly, where would this community be without Vic Winchester? We've been friends for nearly a decade now, doing this sort of stuff in one form or another. And Vic, you've dumped so much of your energy into just getting this first 30-minute episode roughly out the door, and you deserve all the praise I can give and all the praise that's coming your way for this project, I hope. Finally, thanks to the man himself, Charlie Scene, for the vote of confidence in us and reaching out in the first place and giving us the opportunity and the platform to try this. We really enjoyed working with you on this project. And finally, whoever you are on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the headphones, listening in and giving us some of your valuable time. I know that folks are busy and lending us your ears, lending us your eyes. Like we really appreciate it, and we appreciate you. So this is Compare Me to None. First episode kicking off here with Charlie Scene. More to come, and enjoy. All right, so I'll do a quick intro. Hey, everybody, it's Scrub Josh over at SCNFDM.com. You know what we're all about. I'll let everyone else go around the room and, do a little quick introduction.
What's up? This is Scrub Charlie Scene. You know the fucking drill. My boy Scrub Vic.
Okay, the first question.
Yeah.
With solo record coming out, which is definitely a big milestone for you as a person and an artist, we want you to look back and start with your origin story and take a dive into your past. So let's say the times you would never foresee you would be an MC. So how old were you when you started getting into making your own music, be it collaboratively or solo?
I first decided I wanted to be a musician when MTV was big, and I saw Tom Petty on there. That's why he's my favorite artist. I saw the Free Fallin' video, and I wanted to be exactly like Tom Petty. I got some tight jeans back before skinny jeans were cool. I got made fun of. I grew my hair out a little longer, and I wanted a guitar for Christmas. So my parents got me a guitar. I was about probably 6 when I got my first guitar. And my dad didn't play guitar, but he started playing like some notes on it, just hitting random notes. I was like, whoa, what song is that? He's like, oh, I just made it up. And it like blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, you can make your own music that easy? Okay. So then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to start making my own little riffs or songs. So I started writing songs when I was 6, and I'm sure they were shitty. I had a neighbor named Chebio, a very annoying guy. So my first song I ever wrote was called Go Home Chebio. I just continued to play and write music, got better and kept going. I put the guitar down for a while when I got into hip hop, started listening to that stuff like Tupac and Del the Funky Homo Sapien and a bunch of different stuff. So I put the guitar down and started freestyle rapping and stuff in high school and battle rapping people. There would always be big crowds. And I would battle rap fools. And I never lost. That was my claim to fame in high school. I never lost a battle. I battled teachers. I battled anyone who wanted to step to this shit. And then I got back into guitar a little bit because rock music, I just got back into it. So I started playing guitar, then started my first band, Upright Radio. And then my friends George and Jarrell had a band that needed a guitar player, 3 Tears. So I joined that band for a while. Then went back to Upright Radio and was getting management and putting songs online and having fun with that. And then I got a call from Jarrell again, who said he is doing a hip hop thing now. So he wanted me, because he knew that I could freestyle and shit. So he called me and asked me if I wanted to rap on his first song, or the first song with the band Hollywood Undead back then. So they had the kids. I listened to the kids and it blew my mind. I thought it was the coolest shit I've ever fucking heard. So then I went in and recorded with them, and we wrote the song Scene for Dummies. So that was the first song I did with Hollywood Undead, and it took off instantly overnight. And I quit Upright Radio, obviously, and just stuck with Hollywood Undead. I was having so much fun, and yeah, that's my history.
So it sounds like you've been, involved in being a musician or wanting to be a musician almost from the get-go. Did you ever have plans or like an idea of being something else, or was like, this is it, like I'm gonna make it one way or the other, I'm gonna play music as my profession?
Yeah, like in there, like I wanted to be a movie director too, probably just as bad as a musician at one point. I loved Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, like Boogie Nights. When I saw that, it just blew my mind that the dude was 23 and wrote a movie and directed it, and it was that fucking good. So yeah, that inspired me to be a director. So I was working at that too at the same time as working on music. But yeah, it was written in the stars that music would work out. But still, at some point, I'd love to do something with film or anything like that. That's always been so cool to me, and I would love to do that. That's why I've directed a couple of the music videos just to get a little taste of it. And I have so much fun doing that. So eventually I'll get around to it.
So that, like, the classic story we get in all the Hollywood Undead interviews is that all of you guys were in various bands together. Was Three Tears the first time you were doing music with those guys, or were there other small gigs before that? Or
with these guys, yeah, it was just Three Tears. Oh, and then there was a cover band Mania that I started too. I guess right around when Three Tears happened, I just wanted to do like a cover band thing. So Jarrell played bass in that band, and we would just play parties and bars and stuff for fun.
It's a recurring theme in your story.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good at it though. I appreciate it. So like our research turned up another band that, like, I guess there's some write-ups about it from the 2000s, and I'm not sure if it's legit or not, but does the name A Permanent Holiday ring any bells?
Permanent Holiday. I think that was a band that George was going to be in, right? Or was it me?
It looked like it was some folks I hadn't heard of, yourself, Jarrell, and then Lovato was involved at some point.
Oh, I think yeah. None of us, me and Jarrell, were never in that band. Actually, George wasn't either. I think that Lovato just was trying to take a little bit of our steam and just like said that we're in the band. Like, oh, I have these members of Hollywood Undead in my band. Come check it out. Which yeah.
Because there's like a whole like biography about the band out there on the internet and stuff. If you look it up, and it's like, yeah, Jordan Terrell played guitar and then eventually left and blah blah blah. So we figured we would try to, figure out, is that real or is that some internet bullshit?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you asked, so I could put an end to that rumor. Yeah, I never played guitar in that band. I was never in that band. Either was anyone else.
So there's you mentioned Upright Radio and cover bands. So there's a handful of your old demos out there on the web from pre-HU. Like there's some Upright Radio, there's some Walking Phoenixes. A lot of this happening in like the early 2000s, either just before or right after HU was formed. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about like where you were at in your headspace at that point as a musician, bouncing between these bands and projects? Like, what was your goal at that time? Were you trying to get a record deal? Were you just doing stuff for fun?
Back then, yeah, like I definitely had aspirations to do music for a living, but I was perfectly happy with making $100 a night and playing bars. Like that to me was fine. Like I would rather like be poor but be playing music than go and work like some normal job, which I did. I worked for Dylan's dad in the movie studios doing labor work, and I was making really good money for a 19-year-old kid. I was making like $35 an hour, but I was depressed because I was like, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, like I don't give a shit about money. So I quit that and just played cover band shows and was poor as hell, and I was perfectly content with that.
Speaking of Upright Radio, I want you to bring some interesting facts for you. As you know, maybe there is 2 demos actually that's still publicly available on the internet. It's Time Again and All In.
Yeah.
So for the songs that wasn't officially released or even promoted, they are still getting a lot of love from HU fans. Like these 2 songs combined getting like 400,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah,
and a lot of positive comments actually. So this is just interesting facts about
that's crazy.
These songs.
Yeah, they have more views than my solo project. Shit.
Yeah, maybe, but that's just for now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think All In is on there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that one, that was like the last Upright Radio song that I recorded. That was after I did a record with Upright Radio. And that one I actually went to Aaron's house and he recorded me. It's before Hollywood Undead. He's the one who produced that song. I think it was before Hollywood Undead. Maybe we did 2 songs or something, but that was at his house when he still lived with his parents. And then Time Again was on a record that I recorded. I went to, when I was like 18, I lived on my mom's couch. I was poor as hell, you know, in the cover band days and upright radio days. And I went to a friend of ours had a super rich, successful friend who lived in the Hollywood Hills. He was like a Indy car driver. So we went to a party at his house and hung out. And I was on fire that night with zingers and good times. So the dude was like, "Hey, man," he found out I was living on my mom's couch. Like, "Hey, come live with me." I thought he was gay at first, and then turns out he wasn't. He was just lonely, a lonely, cool, younger dude. He was like 22, who lived in the Hollywood Hills. He was like, "Come move in with me. You can stay here for free. You just have to teach me how to play guitar." So I moved in there, this huge house in the Hollywood Hills. It was fucking crazy. And he heard my music I was writing, so he funded the Upright Radio records. So we went and he bought a studio and paid for producers and everything. So we recorded the Upright Radio album, 10 songs. Nothing ever came of it because Hollywood Undead happened. That music I feel like hasn't aged that well, at least in my opinion. It's a little too like pop punk for me, but I'm sure that band would have evolved, and like songs like Another Way Out, like when I write those kind of songs, it's like, oh, that would have been an Upright Radio song for sure.
So there is like a whole LP just sitting out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even have it. I've looked for it.
So Vic also did some digging for us to take you down memory lane here. So I'm gonna share the screen here real fast just to get you to reminisce here about your time in Upright Radio, and you can be a little nostalgic for a minute while we're in this phase of your career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super into Weezer back then, as you can see. Yeah.
And there's the longer hair.
Did you perform as Upright Radio too?
Yeah, we played probably 6 or 7 shows just around LA. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop sharing there. Nice trip down memory lane. So, I mean, obviously you just walked through like the transition between Upright Radio and HU. Some of the old social media posts from that era said you guys were working on getting a record label, I think with Umbrella Records or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're no stranger to dealing with label drama early and often in your career.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice or lessons learned for talent that might be just getting started with their first band coming into the industry today?
Man, well, it's almost like you need a record label in some ways you don't these days with social media. So I just think build a following on your own. Obviously, it seems like labels won't even sign people unless they have 1 million followers on social media. You could be the best band in the world, so you just got to build that first. Build your social thing, get a fan base, and then get a good lawyer and get good management who look over things, because as a band, we were warned that you'll be fucked over, but so we knew that going into it, and somehow we're fucked over constantly, even still. So you just need someone who knows how to watch money and save you money and not spend your money. Yeah, I wish we would have hired people with that kind of mindset of saving the band money and making the band money and watching the money the entire time when it comes in and what happens to it. Because when we were young, we didn't give a shit. We didn't look at anything. So we got fucked over numerous times. So be careful.
So another thing that I found in researching, it looks like one of the other cover band that we mentioned, the Walking Phoenixes, that nice Johnny Cash cover band that you were in for a while. You were with Darren Pfeiffer, who went on to do Han Cholo and toured with HU with you guys for years. Jared Miller also lent bass lines to Han Cholo for a few shows. I think a few of those dudes went on to form their own country band, the Red Muffs or something like that.
Yeah.
After you'd left. American country isn't the most ubiquitous genre. Like it's played really heavily in certain parts of the country, and then other parts like people don't have an appetite for it, but it's also getting more and more like commercialized in recent years. So, you know, what does country music mean to you as an artist, and how does it continue to influence you?
So the Red Muffs, first I'll speak to that. That was their band that they were in way before the Walking Phoenixes. It was Drew and Jared and Darren, and they were a cover band around LA, and I became friends with them. I used to go to their shows when I had a fake ID and shit. I would go to their shows, and then eventually would go up and sing a couple songs, and then whenever Jared couldn't make a show, I would fill in for him. So that's how I got my first taste of doing cover band stuff, and that's how I met Darren Pfeiffer and all those guys. And then when I would sing Johnny Cash stuff, Drew was like, "Hey dude, you sound just like him. We should start a cover band that does only Johnny Cash." So that's how that came about. And I loved the idea that just because I grew up with Johnny Cash, my dad was a big Johnny Cash fan. So I love all that old country. Like I love the outlaw country, like Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash, obviously, and all those guys. The new stuff, I mean, there's a few songs that are like guilty pleasures here and there, but I'm not really big on the new country stuff. And I think that, I like Zach Brown and who else? Who's the other guy with the long hair who sings Strawberry Whiskey? What the hell's that song called? What the hell's his name?
Trying to jog my memory here, but we have Google. It's 2021.
Song called Tennessee Whiskey.
Is it Chris Stapleton?
Chris Stapleton. Damn. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, that guy's good too. Super good. I feel like the old school style's coming back, which is cool, but country music to me it's so fucking poppy that it's not even country music anymore. So yeah, I don't listen to any of the new stuff.
See, we got another set of photos here just to peek through, because I know this isn't like one of your most well-known phases in your career. So we'll take another stroll here through a slideshow.
Oh shit. Oh man, look at that guy. Oh my god, am I wearing makeup?
You got a little eyeliner going there?
Yeah, lipstick. Oh my god. Yeah, we played the news. Crazy. Look, they're all wearing makeup.
This is an iconic shot.
That picture embarrasses me every time I see it. Oh man.
Okay, so like you previously mentioned, outside of music, you definitely has a lot of passion to video directing and video production. So you're starting off with clips like Stella, a sad look in this life with a depressed dog, which is probably my favorite.
I sometimes dream of finally doing it, finally ending the life of the one who ended my career of being a famous race dog. Like Tupac said, revenge is the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Now I'm not one for pussy, but I hope to one day seek revenge.
And Shady Fizz skits back in the MySpace days.
Yeah.
After that, you dropping even some comedy-like vines, and you'd even go on to direct some HV videos like Everywhere I Go with Spence Nicholson and Whatever It Takes with Glitch King Brian Cox. So could you dive into the origins of that passion and tell us?
Yeah, that's when I wanted to be a director. So I would just shoot like little skits or videos, like the Stella video. Like when I had friends over, instead of just hanging out, not doing shit, I would be like, hey, let's film a movie or something, make better use of our night, and we'll remember it forever. So we would just film little skits and funny things, and So that's how I started. And then yeah, the music video thing was just, now I can do it. Now I can have like a full film crew basically. And I can tell them what the fuck to do and they'll have to listen to me. And they'll do all the hard work. All I have to do is like, the directing part. They'll find the locations and book all the shit. I don't have to do any of that. So I always love coming up with like the concepts for the video, like the whatever it takes video, and Everywhere I Go and the Comin In Hot video, which I co-directed too, but just wasn't credited on that shit. So annoying. Because I came up with the treatment and basically directed the entire thing. The director the whole time was asking me questions like, oh, what shot should we do here? What now? Blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, my name wasn't on it. Because that video in particular, when we were sending out treatments, like everyone was just like, oh, it should be in the club with fucking blow up dolls and dildos and fucking shots and all this shit. I'm just like, that shit is so fucking obvious. Let's just do the exact opposite of what the obvious shit is. Let's fucking be farmers. And anyway, then there was one that we were supposed to do the video for Bullet, which we might actually do now if we do end up doing the re-releases. I wrote a treatment for Bullet. So if that happens, we're talking about when we do the re-releases, we'll release a music video for Bullet too, because that song was so big for us and there's no fucking video for it. Although the lyric video is really cool, but it would be cool to do like an official video. So I have a treatment sitting and waiting for that song. So hopefully that happens. I don't know if I can spill the beans on the idea, but I'm excited about that.
I think, like, now that you mention it, I just remembered, I think there was plans, or there was mention in an interview of another Way Out video at one point during the notes cycle that you were looking to direct that never saw the light of day.
Oh man, I had the best fucking video idea for that shit too. For some reason, I think that's when we were signed to Octone. They just didn't give me the budget. They just wouldn't give money to do the video. It was so fucking crazy because that song was huge for us too.
Yeah, I'm a little out of order here, but like notes was such a weird cycle. Like you had no support. The label evaporated out from under you. You came out top of the charts. Like you had to tour alone. Yeah. So it just kind of seemed like that video was a casualty of the situation.
Yep, exactly. That whole situation was so fucked, man. Management, label, everything just vanished. And we were just stuck with nothing basically. And there were such good songs on there that didn't get like the correct treatment that they should have got. It's just unfortunate.
It's a solid record front to back, probably my favorite or one of my favorite releases that you've done. So I still mourn that marketing cycle.
We all do.
I think a Warchild video was in the works too.
Yep, totally, 100%. I mean, it's crazy. Like most of these labels, every time that there's a song that I'm super fucking excited about, they always pick. I mean, it seems like every release that this band does, the first release is just the fucking rock song, which is cool. They're always great songs. I love them. But the songs that like are our biggest songs never get attention in any way from the label or anything, which is nuts. Like even Riot, for instance, right? Like is that the biggest song off that record? There's no video, there's no push or anything. It's just the songs on Spotify.
Riot, I think it's second.
Yeah, second, right? And we shot that
whatever it takes first, and Riot second.
Like an afterthought, that video. We shot that in Russia. It was released like fucking 2 years after the record, or I don't know, more. You guys would know.
You guys just publish it when you were in Moscow.
Yeah, so crazy. Yeah, and even that was like a fight to do. It's crazy too, like the resurgence of Riot all of a sudden.
TikTok. It's I think with TikTok, we ran an article about how it was like one of the top streamed songs in all of BMG's catalog because of TikTok.
Yeah, and
TikTok, I really love the song.
Yeah, me too. I love that song. Yeah, it's crazy. Everywhere I go too, all of a sudden, like the numbers went fucking through the roof because of TikTok, which is cool too. Any of these songs that like didn't get to see the light of day, like there's still a chance for them to eventually do something.
So moving into the next question on our list here, like there are actors and other types of artists out there who can't or won't, for whatever reason, like watch their own performances back or revisit their old work. Like as a musician, and especially as a performing musician, you don't really get that luxury. Like you might be playing the same song 100 times a year. I know personally from anything I've ever created, I'm hyper aware of even like the smallest flaws in something I've made. And no one else that like is ever going to consume something I make is going to notice that, but it'll always stick out to me.
Right.
Do you ever get that feeling when listening to or performing one of your tracks? Like, are there little details or regrets you have that stick out? You're like, man, if I just had a few more hours, I would have changed this, or God, if I could just go back, I would have not like added this bit in, or I could have made it a little nicer.
Totally. Yep. That definitely happens. 100%. Not a lot, but yeah, that definitely happens. There's a new song. Oh, I shouldn't say because then people will know. But there's a new song coming out where I have something that bugs me, which I'm sure no one else would notice. But yeah, I wish that I could go back and change it.
You point it out at some point, someone will go remix it for you on social media.
Yeah.
Just crowdsource it. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a little harder.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got AI now, so we can kind of get there.
Yeah, pretty much.